welcome to another episode of Beyond the Locker Room. I'm your host, Brian Tull, and today is pretty much Game 7 discussion. That's all it's about. I was off last week. It was our holidays. Enjoyed the lovely country of Jamaica. Beautiful, beautiful food and drinking and anything else I can do and relaxation. So I'm back, with Game 7 on the line here for the Pacers and the Heat. I'm just going to get right into it and just discuss, what I've seen so far and kind of the comments so far has happened over the weekend since Game 6. So tonight, this game is going to be starting in a couple hours. Let me start off with Wade and Bosh and this issue here with Wade and Bosh. Honestly, I think at this point, they just got to bring it. I don't want to hear any more talking. I don't want to hear any more saying this and that. They need the ball. Personally, I think that Dwayne Wade must be the most unaware star I've seen in years. For him to actually go out on a national stage and say that he needs more touches for him to be more effective, considering the way he's played, not just for this series, but pretty much the entire playoffs, where he's been a shell of himself. And then to say that he needs more touches for him to be more effective. And put it in an accusatory way as if LeBron's stopping him or impeding him from being the player he is. Like, he's Dwayne Wade. If he wants the damn ball, he can get it anytime he wants to. Like, I don't understand this. Bosh, he's a whole other story. I think Bosh, he needs to kind of just, man up, get on the boards, and start fighting for some rebounds. And I'll also say this, at least on the Bosh standpoint, Spoelstra has to do a better job of using Bosh. I've said this before to my friends, anyone will listen. I think that Miami always, I think they misuse Bosh a lot on how they actually do their sets. I always feel that they could run the offense through Bosh sometimes instead of relying on LeBron all the time. Wade's always been more of a freelance player. But I think if they gave Bosh some touches in the right circumstances in the paint, it's possible. If he has David West on him, and he's on the perimeter from about 17 feet out, that's drive city for him, and go to work on David West. He uses speed and length on West every single time and probably either gets a score, gets a shot up, and someone, comes from the weak side because, they're not bringing help over, or he gets fouled and he goes to the line. Nothing bad likely will happen in that scenario. The likeliest thing happens is they miss shot, they get the rebound. Indiana gets a rebound. Or once in a while, Bosh sometimes gets a little turnover crazed when it comes to passing the ball of a double team. But if that double's not coming, which Indiana looks like they're willing to play single coverage, that's what you got to do. When he has Hibbert on him, in this case here, yeah, he has to stretch it out. He has to hit that jump shot. But also, too, I feel he could blow by Hibbert if Hibbert strays too far away. And once again, this is where Spoelstra comes into play. Get Bosh on the move if he's got Hibbert on him. Set more pick and rolls with he and LeBron, he and Chalmers, whomever the person handling the ball, and get him moving to the hoop that forces Hibbert to move as well, too. He's got Hibbert standing up just outside the paint, just sitting there waiting to stretch out wherever he shoots an 18-foot jump shot. It's the easiest way for Hibbert to defend. He's close enough to the basket to stay there in case a guy tries to drive. And all he has to do is just put his hand up to make sure Bosh gets a little bit of, make sure he puts a little, interference on Bosh on his jump shot. And once Bosh's jump shot's not hitting, it makes it even easier to defend. So I don't know what Spoelstra's doing on that front. But just going back to the Wade situation, my observation on that, if you watch Game 6 closely, he missed chippies left, right, and center. There's one point where he had a layup on a breakaway, on a fast break. He missed the layup. I think Norris Cole, I think it's Cole or Chalmers, one of the 2 point guards, steals the ball back, comes back down the court. I think it's Chalmers. Comes back down the court, and Wade's once again on his left side, refuses to give it to Wade and tries to go up and take a much more difficult layup opportunity because he had no trust in Wade to finish the shot. So that's where things are with Wade's game. Everyone's talking about this great Pacer defense on Wade. I'm not sure if it's that great a defense. I think they just realized that, this dude right now isn't bringing it, so we're not going to really put that much pressure on him. They're playing single coverage on him. When you look at how they're playing, they're giving him the 16, 17, 15-foot jump shot, which he used to make that in his sleep. They're now giving that up, playing off 3 feet off him, daring him to take that shot, and he can't hit it. In the post up, he's got no push, no drive, no explosion. And usually when he's posting up, he's posting against a taller player like Stevenson, who's giving up an inch or two on, or George, where he's giving up like 4 or 5 inches on. So I'm just looking at this right now. In my mind, I think Miami still wins tonight because I think LeBron's going to bring it like it never been brung before. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 40. But he needs help from someone. And the question mark is, who is that person? I think with the Birdman back, I think the Birdman's going to be effective tonight. I think he's going to be a very key player in this thing tonight. But I also think, as much as I've been ripping on Bosh, I think he is going to be, of the two stars, he's the one I think is going to give LeBron just enough, maybe 17, 18, and probably 8 boards, which is about his average. I think all he has to do is give his average, which is like 17-8 or 18-8, and Miami wins this, I think, easily. But I think if he gives that, I think Indiana, Indiana, everyone's saying Indiana's playing great, which they are playing well, but Indiana's not doing anything special in this case here. I think it comes down to what Miami gets on a night-to-night basis to determine if they're going to win the game or not, if you just watch how the series has been playing. George has definitely been playing off the hook, and no two ways about it, as well as Hibbert. They've been consistent, same with West. It pretty much comes down to the Indiana backcourt, how they play versus which X factor for Miami can give LeBron a little juice just to get over the hump. And a couple of games was Haslam, another night was Birdman for a night or two. And combination of Chalmers. So all these things come into play. This is where things stand right now. I see in this series. I think Miami wins tonight, probably about 8-10 points when it's all said and done. It's been a great series so far. I honestly, just from a basketball standpoint, no disrespect to Pacer fans. I mean, I got family that love their Pacers. I really don't want to sit down watching Pacers Spurs for 7 games. I have no interest in that, so who knows. But we'll see. It's going to be fun tonight. Lots of drama, lots of interest. As far as I'm concerned, everyone talked about LeBron last year in Game 7, about his legacy with this game. As far as I'm concerned, this is the legacy of not only the Heat, but I think the legacy of Spoelstra, but also the biggest legacy impact is Wade. I mean, he put himself in the crosshairs with his talk this weekend. He's got to deliver, and he's been atrocious pretty much for the entire playoffs. So if you're hurt, you're hurt. He's not making excuses about that. So if you think you're the same player you always been, so be it then. Produce. So that's all I got to say about that. Winner take on the Spurs. I think if Miami gets through, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I think they would be the favorite in my mind to beat the Spurs. If Indiana gets through, I think the Spurs will be the favorite, but a slim favorite. I think that will also be a tight series. So, either way, from a basketball standpoint, I think, the finals will be a very competitive series, whichever team gets through. But I think that I go with the home team tonight. I don't see Miami losing 2 games in a row, 2 closeout possibilities on their home court as well. I think that those players, Bosh and Wade, have too much pride, and I don't see them going out like this. So that's my 2 cents on this. I look forward to hearing your comments before the game, after the game. Let's discuss it. Game 7, man. This is what it's all about, folks. This is what we waited all year for. So I'll talk to you later. Be safe, and until next time, man. Later.